The crimson hologram flickered to life in the center of Earth's United Assembly Chamber, revealing the imposing figure of High Counselor Vexthor Nuum. His 6 eyes narrowed as he surveyed the room, tentacles twitching with barely contained impatience. "Humans!" His voice boomed, causing several delegates to flinch. "The Galactic Council has spoken. You will pay tribute, as all species must." Admiral Lysandra Frost, Earth's chief representative, stood tall despite the palpable tension. Her steely gaze met Vexthor's unflinchingly. "And what, pray tell, does the Almighty Council believe we owe them?" Vexthor's upper lip curled in what passed for a sneer among his species. "Your pitiful planet has been part of the galactic community for a mere century, yet you've spread like a plague, colonizing systems, innovating technologies, and disrupting the careful balance we've maintained for millennia." Lysandra's eyebrow arched. "I wasn't aware progress was a crime, Counselor." "Silence!" Vexthor roared. "The tribute is non-negotiable. You will surrender 30% of your antimatter reserves, 50% of your quantum computing cores, and 1 million of your finest soldiers to serve in the Council's peacekeeping force." A collective gasp echoed through the chamber. Lysandra's knuckles whitened as she gripped the podium. "And if we refuse?" Vexthor's tentacles writhed with dark amusement. "Then Earth will be removed from the galactic stage, permanently." As the hologram blinked out, chaos erupted in the chamber. Shouts of outrage mixed with cries of fear. Lysandra stood motionless, her mind racing. "Admiral?" Her aide, Zephyr Quasar, approached cautiously. "Your orders?" Lysandra's eyes glinted with determination. "Contact the Terran Defense Fleet. All of it. And get me a secure line to President Orion Stormborn. It's time humanity showed the galaxy exactly what we're made of." In the shadowy depths of Luna Base Alpha, Dr. Aloan Novastorm hunched over her console, fingers flying across holographic keys. "They can't be serious," she muttered, poring over classified council documents. Her research partner, the grizzled veteran Captain Axel Ironheart, leaned against a nearby bulkhead. "Oh, they're serious all right. Question is, what are we going to do about it?" Aloan spun in her chair, eyes blazing with a mixture of fury and excitement. "We've suspected for years that the Council's been holding us back, blocking our expansion, misplacing our patent applications. But this? Demanding tribute like we're some medieval vassal state? It's insanity." Axel nodded grimly. "They're scared. Document humanity's accomplished more in a century than most species do in 1,000 years. We're the wild card they can't control." A proximity alert chimed, and both turned to see Admiral Frost's hologram materialize. "Dr. Novastorm, Captain Ironheart, I trust you've heard the news?" "Loud and clear, Admiral," Axel responded. "What's the play?" Lysandra's hologram flickered, her expression hardening. "I need options, people. The kind that'll make the Council regret they ever heard of Earth." Aloan's eyes lit up. "Well, funny you should ask, Admiral. Remember that little black box project we've been tinkering with? The one that makes the Council's quantum entanglement comms look like 2 tin cans and a string." A slow smile spread across Lysandra's face. "Doctor, I believe it's time to take your toy out of the sandbox. How quickly can you deploy?" Aloan's fingers danced across her console. "Give me 48 hours and a direct link to the Terran defense grid. We'll have every human colony and outpost connected before the Council can say, OPS. "Excellent," Lysandra nodded. "Captain Ironheart, I want you to coordinate with General Thorn. Dust off Operation Thunderbolt. If the Council wants a show of force, we'll give them one they'll never forget." Axel snapped to attention. Aye, Admiral. Those pencil pushers won't know what hit him." As the hologram faded, Aloan and Axel exchanged a look that was equal parts determination and barely contained excitement. "Well, partner," Axel grinned, cracking his knuckles. "Looks like humanity's about to remind the galaxy why you don't back us into a corner." Aloan's laugh held a dangerous edge. "Oh, this is going to be fun. Time to show those xeno-bureaucrats what happens when you piss off the cosmic upstarts." As alarms began to blare throughout Luna Base Alpha, the two sprung into action. The next 48 hours would determine the fate of not just Earth, but the entire galactic order. And humanity? Well, humanity was just getting started. The atmosphere in the Terran High Command bunker crackled with tension. Holograms flickered, displaying real-time data from across human space. At the center of it all stood President Orion Stormborn, his weathered face a mask of grim determination. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice cutting through the din, "we stand at a crossroads. The Galactic Council has thrown down the gauntlet. They expect us to roll over, to submit like good little primitives." His fist slammed against the war table. "Well, I say it's time we show them exactly what humanity is capable of." A chorus of cheers erupted from the assembled leaders. Admiral Frost stepped forward, her uniform crisp despite the chaos. "Mr. President, Operation Thunderbolt is primed and ready. We can have our entire fleet mobilized within 12 hours. Stormborn nodded. "And the Nova Storm Protocol?" Dr. Alohan's hologram materialized, her eyes gleaming with barely contained excitement. "Online and operational, sir. Every human outpost from here to the Andromeda Arm is now linked via quantum-entangled dark matter relays. The Council's surveillance net is blind to our movements." "Excellent." Stormborn's grin was fierce. "Now, let's discuss our response to their generous offer of tribute." General Thorne, a bear of a man with cybernetic enhancements glinting at his temples, cleared his throat. "Sir, I suggest we hit them where it hurts. The Council's main shipyards at Zeta Reticuli. One precision strike and will cripple their production capabilities for years." Admiral Frost shook her head. "Too aggressive. We need to show strength, yes, but not appear as the aggressors. Remember, half the galaxy still sees us as upstart monkeys with spaceships. What about a demonstration?" This from Commander Lyra Starforge, her hologram shimmering with barely contained energy. "We've been sitting on the Lazarus technology for years. Imagine their faces when we bring an entire dead planet back to life right under their noses." The room fell silent, all eyes turning to President Stormborn. He stroked his chin, a dangerous glint in his eye. "Why choose? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do all of it." Gasps and murmurs filled the room. Stormborn continued, his voice rising with passion. "The Council thinks they can bully us? Threaten us? It's time they learned that humanity doesn't just survive. We thrive in the face of adversity." He turned to Admiral Frost. "Lysandra, I want the fleet split into 3 task forces. The first will make a show of force at our border systems. Let the Council think we're playing defense." Frost nodded, already inputting commands. "And the other 2, sir?" Stormborn's grin was wolfish. "Task Force Omega will execute a stealth mission to Zeta Reticuli. Not to destroy, but to appropriate some of their latest tech. If they want tribute, we'll give them tribute, by taking it right from under their tentacles." The room erupted in laughter and cheers. Stormborn raised a hand for silence. "And Task Force Phoenix will head to the dead world of Epsilon Prime. Commander Starforge, it's time to wake a planet from its slumber." Lyra's hologram practically vibrated with excitement. "It will be my honor, Mr. President." "Dr. Novastorm," Stormborn continued, "I want you coordinating all of this from Luna Base Alpha. Use your dark matter network to keep our forces synchronized and the Council in the dark." Alohan saluted. "They won't know what hit them, sir." As the leaders dispersed to their stations, a low buzz of anticipation filled the air. Stormborn turned to Admiral Frost, his voice low. "Lysandra, what we're about to do, it's going to change everything. Are you ready for that?" Frost's eyes met his, burning with determination. "Mr. President, humanity has been ready for this moment since we first looked up at the stars and dreamed. The Council started this game, but we're going to finish it." Stormborn nodded, a mix of pride and resolve etched on his face. "Then let's give them a show they'll never forget. It's time to remind the galaxy that humanity isn't just a part of the cosmic order. We're about to rewrite it." As alarms blared and ships across human space roared to life, a palpable sense of destiny filled the air. The Galactic Council had demanded tribute, expecting submission. Instead, they were about to witness the full fury of a species that had clawed its way to the stars through sheer will and determination. Humanity's response was coming, and it would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. The vast emptiness of space erupted with activity as humanity's grand plan unfolded. Aboard the TDF Thunderchild, flagship of Task Force Omega, Captain Zara Novablaze paced the bridge, her cybernetic eye whirring as it processed tactical data. "Status report," she barked, her organic eye flashing with anticipation. Lieutenant Kale Stormrider's fingers danced across his console. "Stealth systems at 100%, Captain. The Council's sensors are still blind to our approach. ETA to Zeta Reticuli, 6 hours." Zara nodded, a predatory grin spreading across her face. "Excellent. And our special package?" "Primed and ready," came the reply from Chief Engineer Rook Quantumforge. His hologram flickered to life, showing him deep in the bowels of the ship. "This beauty will slice through their defenses like a hot knife through butter. They won't know what hit him." Zara's grin widened. "Perfect. Remember, people, we're not here to start a war. We're here to send a message. In and out, quick and clean. Let's show these Xenos what real technology looks like." As Task Force Omega slipped silently through the void, another drama was unfolding light years away. On the bridge of the TDF Phoenix, Commander Lyra Starforge stood before a holographic representation of Epsilon Prime. The dead world hung before her, a grim reminder of conflicts long past. "Unbelievable," she whispered, her voice a mixture of awe and determination. "To think, we have the power to bring an entire planet back to life." Dr. Aloan Novastorm's voice crackled over the comms. "Remember, Commander, this isn't just about restoration. It's about evolution. The Lazarus Protocol doesn't just heal, it improves." Lyra nodded, her eyes never leaving the hologram. "Understood, Doctor. We're not just waking a sleeping giant. We're creating a marvel that will leave the Council speechless." Back on Earth, tension mounted in the United Assembly Chamber. Admiral Frost stood before the gathered representatives, her posture rigid with barely contained energy. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice carrying to every corner of the room. "In a matter of hours, humanity will make its stand. The Council believes they can demand tribute from us? Well, we're about to show them what real power looks like." Cheers erupted, but were quickly silenced as a familiar crimson hologram flickered to life. High Counselor Vex Thor Nuum appeared, his tentacles writhing with agitation. "Humans!" he bellowed, his multiple eyes narrowing. "Your time grows short. Where is our tribute? Or do you foolishly choose defiance?" Admiral Frost stepped forward, her eyes blazing. "Counselor Nuum, humanity has carefully considered your generous offer, and we have prepared a response that I believe you'll find most illuminating." Vex Thor's expression twisted into what passed for confusion among his species. "What nonsense is this? You will submit, or face the consequences." Frost's laugh was sharp and cutting. "Oh, Counselor, you have no idea what's coming. I suggest you and your esteemed colleagues pay very close attention to Zeta Reticuli and Epsilon Prime in the next few hours. You're about to witness what happens when you back humanity into a corner." As the hologram sputtered and died, a chorus of whoops and cheers filled the chamber. Admiral Frost turned to her aide, Zephyr Quasar. "Status update?" Zephyr's eyes gleamed with excitement. "Task Force Omega is on final approach to Zeta Reticuli. Commander Starforge reports all systems go for the Lazarus Protocol, and our border fleets are in position, ready to defend against any Council aggression." Frost nodded, a fierce pride swelling in her chest. "Excellent. Now we wait, and hope that the Council is paying attention." As the hours ticked by, a palpable sense of anticipation built across human space. In hidden bases and bustling colonies, on starships and space stations, humanity held its collective breath. They had been challenged, threatened, underestimated, and now, as the cosmic chess pieces aligned, it was time to show the galaxy exactly what humans were capable of when pushed to the brink. The next few hours would change everything, and as Admiral Frost gazed out at the star-studded void, she couldn't help but smile. The Council had no idea what was coming, but they were about to find out. In fire and light, in life and death, humanity's response was about to shake the very foundations of the galaxy, and nothing would ever be the same again. The stars seemed to hold their breath as Task Force Omega emerged from stealth, mere kilometers from Zeta Reticuli's orbital shipyards. Captain Zara Novablaze's cybernetic eye word, processing the magnificent sight before her. "My God," Lieutenant Kale whispered. "It's even bigger than our intel suggested." Zara's organic eye narrowed. "Size isn't everything, Lieutenant. Precision is what matters now. Rook, status on our little surprise?" Chief Engineer Rook's voice crackled through the comms. "Quantum disruptors are hot and ready, Captain. On your mark." Zara's lips curled into a predatory grin. "Ladies and gentlemen, let's show these Xenos what real tech can do." Fire. A pulse of energy, invisible to the naked eye, erupted from the Thunderchild. For a heartbeat, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like dominoes falling in slow motion, every security system, shield generator, and weapons platform across the shipyard began to flicker and die. Alarms blared across Zeta Reticuli as panicked voices filled the comms. "We're blind. Weapons offline. By the Council, what's happening?" Zara's voice cut through the chaos, broadcasting on all frequencies. "Attention Zeta Reticuli. This is Captain Zara Novablaze of the Terran Defense Force. Consider this humanity's tribute to the Galactic Council. We hope you enjoy this demonstration of real technological prowess." As confusion reigned, shuttles launched from the Thunderchild, streaking towards the now defenseless shipyards. "Boarding teams away," Kale reported. They're just walking in. No resistance." Zara nodded, her cybernetic eye gleaming. "Of course they are. Why fight when you can simply... appropriate?" Light years away, a different kind of spectacle was unfolding. The dead world of Epsilon Prime hung in space, a grim reminder of conflicts long past, but not for long. Commander Lyra Starforge stood on the bridge of the TDF Phoenix, her hand hovering over a pulsing blue button. "This is it, people. History in the making. Lazarus Protocol. Engage." A wave of energy, shimmering like liquid starlight, erupted from the ship. It enveloped Epsilon Prime, seeping into every crack and crevice. For a moment, all was still. Then, life exploded across the planet's surface. Rivers burst forth where there had been only dust. Forests erupted from barren plains. And in the atmosphere, clouds began to form for the first time in millennia. Lyra's eyes widened in awe. It's beautiful. Dr. Novastorm, are you seeing this?" Aloan's hologram materialized, her face alight with joy and scientific fascination. "Oh, I'm seeing it all right. But this is just the beginning. The Lazarus Protocol doesn't just restore, it evolves. Keep watching." As the crew of the Phoenix looked on in wonder, the newly formed ecosystems began to shift and change at an accelerated rate. Plants adapted to their new environment in minutes rather than millennia. Microscopic life flourished and evolved before their very eyes. "Incredible," Lyra breathed. "We're not just restoring a world. We're creating a paradise." Back on Earth, the United Assembly Chamber was in an uproar. Holographic displays showed both Zeta Reticuli and Epsilon Prime, the twin spectacles of humanity's response playing out in real time. Admiral Frost stood at the center of it all, her face a mask of fierce pride. "This, ladies and gentlemen, is humanity's answer to the Council's demands." The crimson hologram of High Counselor Vex Thor sputtered to life, his multiple eyes wide with a mixture of rage and disbelief. What have you done? This is an act of war." Frost's laugh was sharp and cutting. "War? Oh no, Counselor. This is diplomacy. You demanded tribute? Well, here it is. We've upgraded your shipyards with technology centuries beyond your own. We've brought life to a world you left for dead. If this is how humanity pays tribute, imagine what we could accomplish as true partners in the galactic community." Vex Thor's tentacles writhed in agitation. You dare? The Council will not stand for this." Then perhaps, Frost replied, her voice dripping with dangerous sweetness, it's time for a new council, one that recognizes humanity as the force we truly are. As the hologram flickered out, cheers erupted throughout the chamber. But Admiral Frost's expression remained serious. She turned to her aide, Zephyr. This is just the opening move, she said quietly. Be ready. The real challenge is yet to come. Across the stars, humanity held its breath. They had made their stand, shown their strength, but as the galaxy reeled from their audacious display, one question hung in the air. What would happen next? The galactic stage was set ablaze with humanity's audacious moves. As reports of the events at Zeta Reticuli and Epsilon Prime spread like wildfire across interstellar channels, the Terran High Command braced for the inevitable backlash. Admiral Frost stood before a sea of holograms, each displaying the faces of various alien diplomats and leaders. Their expressions ranged from awe to outrage, fear to fascination. You've gone too far this time, humans, bellowed the ZYXnarian ambassador, his crystalline form vibrating with anger. The Council will not stand for this blatant act of aggression. Frost's eyes narrowed. Aggression? We gave you gifts. If that's aggression, I'd hate to see what you consider generosity. Before the ZYXnarian could retort, a new voice cut through the cacophony. Fascinating. All eyes turned to the hologram of Arxis Mindweaver, leader of the reclusive Quanta Collective. His multifaceted eyes gleamed with an intelligence that made even the most advanced AIs seem primitive. For centuries, Arxis continued, his voice a melodic hum. We've watched humanity's rise with great interest. But this is truly remarkable. The chamber fell silent. The Quanta Collective, with their mastery of quantum mechanics and dimensional engineering, were respected and feared in equal measure. Their voice could sway the entire galactic community. Arxis turned to Admiral Frost. Tell me, human, what do you truly seek? Dominance? Revenge? Frost stood tall, her voice clear and unwavering. Neither, Arxis. What we seek is recognition. A seat at the table, not as supplicants, but as equals. The galaxy is vast, and the challenges we face are vaster still. Imagine what we could accomplish if we worked together, instead of clinging to outdated hierarchies. A murmur rippled through the assembled holograms. Arxis's eyes seemed to pulse with an inner light. Intriguing. Very intriguing indeed. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the command center. Zephyr's voice cut through the chaos. Admiral, we're detecting massive energy signatures. The Council, they're mobilizing their entire fleet. Frost's jaw clenched. So be it. If it's a show of force they want, it's a show of force they'll get. All units, battle stations. As the diplomat's holograms winked out one by one, Frost turned to her command staff. This is it, people. The moment we've prepared for. Let's show the galaxy what happens when you corner humanity. Aboard the Thunderchild, Captain Zara Novablaze watched as the stolen Zeta Reticuli tech integrated seamlessly with their systems. Status report. Rook's voice crackled over the comms, tinged with excitement. Captain, you're not going to believe this. The quantum disruptors? They're not just weapons. They're dimensional anchors. Zara's cybernetic word. Meaning, Rook explained, his words tumbling out in a rush. We can create localized pockets of altered space-time. Slow down time for our enemies, speed it up for us. Hell, we might even be able to open micro-wormholes. A slow, dangerous smile spread across Zara's face. Well now, isn't that interesting? Kale, plot a course to rendezvous with the main fleet. Let's give Admiral Frost a little surprise of our own. On Epsilon Prime, Lyra Starforge watched in awe as the newly reborn world continued to evolve at an unprecedented rate. But her wonder was cut short by an urgent transmission from Earth. Commander, Admiral Frost's hologram flickered to life, her expression grim. The Council's coming in force. We need Epsilon Prime combat ready. Now. Lyra's eyes widened. But Admiral, it's a newborn world. We can't possibly. We don't have a choice, Frost cut her off. The Lazarus Protocol doesn't just restore. It evolves. Push it to its limits, Commander. Give us a world that can fight. As the hologram winked out, Lyra turned to her crew, determination etched on her face. You heard the Admiral. Let's see just how far we can push this miracle of ours. Across human space, ships of all sizes roared to life. Colony worlds activated long-dormant defense systems. And in hidden bases across the galaxy, secret weapons, years in the making, were finally unveiled. Humanity had been backed into a corner. But now, with technology stolen from Zeta Reticuli, a newborn battle world in Epsilon Prime, and the weight of their entire civilization behind them, they were ready to show the galaxy their true strength. As the Council's vast armada approached, Admiral Frost's voice echoed across every human channel. This is the moment that defines us. Not just as a species, but as a force in this galaxy. They thought they could demand tribute? Well, let's show them what happens when humanity decides to push back. The stage was set. The pieces were in place. And as two titanic forces hurtled towards each other, the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. The true test of humanity was about to begin. The void of space erupted into a dazzling display of light and fury as the Council's armada clashed with humanity's forces. Admiral Frost stood at the helm of the TDF Aegis, her eyes scanning the tactical holo-displays with laser focus. "Status report," she barked, her voice cutting through the chaos of the bridge. Zephyr's hands danced across his console. "Council forces outnumber us 3-1, Admiral. But our new tech is holding strong. We're giving as good as we're getting." Suddenly, a familiar ship burst into view, trailing wisps of quantum energy. Frost's eyes widened. "Is that the Thunderchild? What in the name of?" Captain Zara's face appeared on the main screen, her cybernetic eye glowing with fierce intensity. "Admiral, we've got a little surprise courtesy of Zeta Reticuli. Permission to shake things up?" A slow smile spread across Frost's face. "By all means, Captain. Show us what you've got." The Thunderchild surged forward, its hull shimmering with otherworldly energy. As it approached a cluster of Council battlecruisers, reality itself seemed to warp and twist. "Holy," Zephyr gasped. "Admiral, are you seeing this?" Before their eyes, the space around the Council ships began to distort. Some vessels seemed to move in slow motion, their weapons fire crawling through space like molasses. Others found themselves suddenly kilometers from their original positions, their formations shattered. Zara's triumphant voice crackled over the comms. "Dimensional anchors, Admiral. We can manipulate space-time itself. Let's see how the Council likes fighting in 4 dimensions." As the human fleet pressed their sudden advantage, another miracle unfolded. The newly reborn Epsilon Prime, pulsing with energy, began to move. Not just rotate, but move through space, defying all known laws of physics. Commander Lyra's awestruck face appeared on a side screen. "Admiral, you're not going to believe this. Epsilon Prime isn't just a planet anymore. It's become a living weapon. Tendrils of energy, like colossal tentacles, lashed out from the planet's surface, ensnaring Council ships and crushing them like tin cans. Forests of crystalline structures erupted, forming an impenetrable defense grid. And at the planet's core, a power source unlike anything ever seen before pulsed with terrifying potential. High Counselor Vex Thor's hologram sputtered to life, his eyes wide with a mixture of rage and fear. This is impossible. What manner of abominations have you created, humans?" Admiral Frost's reply was cold and cutting. "We created nothing, Counselor. We simply evolved. Something you and your stagnant Council seem to have forgotten how to do." As the tide of battle turned decisively in humanity's favor, a new transmission cut through the chaos. The serene face of Arxis Mindweaver appeared, his multifaceted eyes taking in the spectacle before him. "Fascinating," he intoned. Truly, humanity has surpassed all expectations. Perhaps it is time for a change in the cosmic order. Vex Thor's tentacles writhed in panic. Arxis, you can't possibly mean... I do, Arxis cut him off. The Quanta Collective officially recognizes humanity as a major galactic power. We call for an immediate ceasefire and the dissolution of the current council structure. A hush fell over the battlefield. Ships on both sides powered down weapons, crews holding their breath in anticipation. Admiral Frost stepped forward, her voice steady. We accept your recognition, Arxis, and we call upon all species to join us in forming a new galactic alliance, not built on subjugation and tribute, but on mutual respect and shared progress. As the reality of what had just transpired sank in, cheers erupted across the human fleet. But Admiral Frost's expression remained serious. She turned to her command staff, her voice low. This isn't the end, she said. It's a new beginning, and the real work starts now. Across the galaxy, news of the battle and its outcome spread like wildfire. Ancient regimes toppled, new alliances formed, and at the center of it all stood humanity, no longer the upstart species, but a force that had reshaped the very fabric of galactic society. The Council's demand for tribute had backfired spectacularly. In seeking to subjugate humanity, they had instead unleashed a power that would forever alter the course of cosmic history. As the dust settled and the new galactic order began to take shape, one thing became crystal clear. The age of human ascendancy had begun, and the universe would never be the same again. The Great Hall of the Galactic Concord buzzed with an energy unlike anything seen in millennia. Representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered, their diversity a testament to the new era dawning across the cosmos. At the center of it all stood Admiral Lysandra Frost, her uniform adorned with the newly minted insignia of the Terran Diplomatic Corps. Friends, allies, fellow sentients, she began, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. We stand at the threshold of a new age, an age born not from conquest or subjugation, but from understanding and mutual growth. The assembled delegates listened in rapt attention as Frost continued. The old council demanded tribute. They sought to keep the galaxy locked in stagnation, fearing change and progress. But today, we forge a different path. A path of innovation, of collaboration, of pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Arxis, Mindweaver of the Quanta Collective, floated forward, his multifaceted eyes gleaming. Indeed, humanity has shown us that true strength lies not in domination, but in adaptation. In the face of challenges, they did not merely survive, they thrived. A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd. Even former council loyalists nodded, grudging respect evident in their postures. Zara Novablaze, newly promoted to Admiral of the Terran Exploration Fleet, stepped up next to Frost, her cybernetic eye whirred as she addressed the assembly. The technologies we've developed, the dimensional anchors, the Lazarus Protocol, these aren't weapons to be hoarded. They're tools. Tools to reshape dead worlds, to navigate the depths of space in ways we never dreamed possible. And we offer them freely, to be used for the betterment of all species. A chorus of excited whispers broke out. The implications were staggering. Entire civilizations, long constrained by resource scarcity or hostile environments, suddenly saw new horizons opening before them. Lyra Starforge, now governor of the evolving marvel that was Epsilon Prime, joined her colleagues. But with great power comes great responsibility. We propose the formation of an ethical innovation committee to ensure that our advancements benefit all, without causing harm or upsetting the delicate balance of our galaxy. As the details of the new galactic structure were hashed out, a familiar figure slunk into the shadows at the back of the hall. Former High Counselor Vex Thor Newum watched the proceedings with a mixture of bitterness and reluctant admiration. Incredible, he muttered to himself. We sought to crush them, and instead, they elevated us all. Admiral Frost, catching sight of Vex Thor, made her way through the crowd. The assembled delegates parted before her, a mix of respect and awe in their eyes. Counselor Newum, she said, her voice level. Or should I say, Citizen Newum now? Vex Thor's tentacles twitched nervously. Admiral Frost, I suppose I owe you an apology. and perhaps gratitude. Frost's eyebrow arched. "Oh, we were wrong about humanity," Vex Thor admitted, his multiple eyes downcast. "In our arrogance, we nearly destroyed everything. But you showed us a better way." A small smile played at the corners of Frost's lips. "The beauty of humanity, Vex Thor, is our capacity for forgiveness. Your experience could be invaluable in this new era. Are you willing to lend your voice to our cause? Not as a ruler, but as an advisor." Vex Thor's eyes widened in surprise. After a moment's hesitation, he straightened, a newfound resolve in his posture. I would be honored, Admiral." As Frost led Vex Thor back to the main assembly, a sense of true unity seemed to settle over the gathered species. Ancient rivalries were set aside. Age-old grudges began to heal. The galaxy was entering a new age. An age of exploration, of innovation, of breaking boundaries once thought unbreakable. And at the heart of it all stood humanity, not as conquerors, but as catalysts for a grand cosmic renaissance. As the newly formed Galactic Concord ratified its charter, cheers erupted across 1,000,000 worlds. In demanding tribute, the old council had unknowingly set in motion events that would reshape the very fabric of galactic society. Humanity had been challenged. They had been threatened. They had been underestimated. And in response, they had not just survived. They had elevated the entire galaxy. As Admiral Frost gazed out at the sea of faces, human and alien alike, she couldn't help but smile. The journey had been perilous, the challenges immense, but they had emerged stronger, wiser, and more united than ever before. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, as if in approval of this new cosmic order. And as the assembly broke into spontaneous celebration, one thing became crystal clear. The age of human inspiration had dawned, and the universe would never be the same again.